back in the letter, and it's 10th chapter. So he and Zach are on pretty bad terms. Don't remember what exactly happened, but yeah. It's more like they're gonna live to talk about it anyway. So we're gonna skip. I don't know, like, I don't hear the normal sound that comes with this. Right there is the party, the breakdown that happened between Lee and Luke. Here's where we get pulled off the case. Serves me for being too idealistic, I guess. That one seems to bite back at me more often than not lately, if what happened in the hospital is meant to convey anything. This is probably the universe telling me that's better to remain the skeptic I really am. So for this one, I'm not entirely sure it matters. We're on pretty good terms with her, so let's stretch the truth and see what happens. Looks like we lost some points.
I mentioned it, didn't I? I saw an old friend and I thought I'd catch up. Didn't really notice how long our chat got.
Where he was at the party, wink wink.
You know what they say about time flying when you're having fun, and Lloyd is a fun guy.
She doesn't look convinced at all. Although she's the very picture of someone who's at least willing to listen, her glare effectively takes a good 20 years off my current years. I feel like a kid again being reprimanded by my junior high teacher for sleeping in class, but getting away with that is easier than with this one. It's the thing with someone you've been friends with for so long. They're the ones who know you inside and out. Good grades won't be enough for Rebecca to let this whole thing slide.
So, this Lloyd is a friend of yours who was at the party?
Yeah, we go way back in the police academy. Though you wouldn't have met him. See, he mostly deals with teenagers and gets into a lot of messy stuff and...
Cut the shite. You're not a very good storyteller, Ash. Don't try to make up a character just so that you can lie to me.
Why did I ever think this is a good idea? Although I'm not making those people up, or only twisting the facts. For someone who's already angry beyond reason, everything will sound like an excuse.
I'm not making stuff up. I did have a college mate named Lloyd. I think you would have liked him. You're both Scottish. He used to hang out a lot with Joey and Rashid, but they went off to work in London. Bunch of good guys. I should really ask if they're swinging by Lux anytime soon.
That doesn't make things any better. You were there because I invited you, and you just up and turned your nose from me. You might as well have disappeared completely for all you cared.
And that brings it into the soap opera, I hope. If another person poor to me ends up in the hospital because I didn't listen, there wouldn't be enough regret in the world. Fuck, I almost came close to losing Isabella. Zach's also been saying odd things about a bunch of photographs. If I'm lucky, Professor Clark has no other obligations today, I know just where to find him. Or what Zach told me a few days ago.
What did he say about the photographs?
Huh? Oh, there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen, so that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Zach is right to blame me for it. I'm the only one who doesn't have any to be angry. We've all been given our warning that day in that desperate pleading tone of hers, and I'm the first one who brushed it off. Still, like the usual, Zach tries. A benefit of the doubt I'm not worthy of.
You ain't the only one stuck in this mess, you know.
It's my job to know things, damn it.
However, this little detail's been bothering me since one of the investigating officers brought it up.
Traffic cams were useless. And those were supposed to be high def to begin with. Damn, huge waste of taxpayers' money when we can't even use it when we need it. The people at Tech have been at it since we got hold of the footage, and all they managed to salvage was a scant few seconds before she crossed the road. How does that help?
Well, there must be some use in that alone. Like, maybe someone pushed her?
There was no one else. She just stopped right in the middle of the road. Just right in the fucking middle. It's like there was something there that prevented her from crossing. I just don't know what. Zach, Isabella's not that stupid. There was something there. That's what made her stop, and the traffic cams didn't catch it. Something or someone. Someone was there.
There are no side entrances, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. Since when he's breaking into Briar Realty. Best thing that come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Searching for what I would need would be a lot easier if Isabella were here. She has always been. So overall, this is kind of annoying how there's just one new line that doesn't really change much of anything. So right here I have to push the freaking tab. So we might actually be able to do all this in one sitting. Perhaps I've always been afraid that my own incompetence might be at fault with what happened to Isabella. After all, it's true. And now, after it has stared me right in the face, I'm at a loss. I have no clue how to deal with it. Scared shitless to boot.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Z-Man has shown me photographs, mentioned weird things happening around him these past few days. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Why else would he approach me, the guy who knows stuff according to him? In the end, all I've done is give him the brush off. Some reliable guy I am. Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. What can any of us do, when all of us lacks any understanding of what's happening? One thing's clear about this, however. That thing is after us because of the letter. Isabella's accident might as well have been the ghost's doing. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. She will go after them as well. This past years, it seems the only one she's been able to easily forgive is Isabella. Kinda wish she's here to help me talk to her. I've already come too close to losing one. There's Zach and Isabella now, too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella had been saying. And if I didn't believe it, he was definitely the first to offer help or try to do something. The added guilt from those times repeatedly dismissed him will surely haunt me. It's only an accident, but what happened to Isabella has proven that. Hell, if only Isabella is here. Unconsciously, my attention drifts towards the closed door of her apartment, and it hits me the second my eyes land on it. A split second of idea. I didn't bother looking into this because all the time I've assumed it's an accident. But Cooper died. Isabella would have been likely received all the files for the Immergard mansion. In fact, she might not need to. They were partners, right? It's no longer a trainee-mentor thing. They both likely have the same copies of the documents. She might still be keeping some in her room. Something she hasn't been able to give us because of the accident. Despite her aunt having brought most of her personal stuff to the hospital, her room's still a mess of things she's accumulated over the years. Papers, instant noodle cups, photographs, and posters all over the room. Who made me feel I am still worth something? So right there we have to get the password, the Devlin Court incident. Awesome to-do list. I'm looking at the flags here. Bermuda Triangle? Or is that... Am I misreading this? Granted, it's not too late for her. She may still recover, but...
The bloke Benjamin saw drop by here a few days ago.
So this is Zach being arrested.
2 counts of breaking and entering into private property. 3 counts of homicide with the murders of Rose Cooper, Father Norman Lee, and now Hannah Wright.
Shit. He's looking at a fine worth £5,000 and 6 months in jail for each kind of breaking and entering. So I never really commented about the European justice system, but I'm trying to remember when the year was when that gunman shot up the Islamic youth camp. Like, they don't even give serious penalties for murder. He killed all those kids, and his sentence actually came down around 6 months per person he killed. So I'm kind of wondering if this actually has the same lack of gravity of killing someone. So let's see if they'll actually mention anything about those murders, or if maybe Britain actually isn't quite as crazy as the rest of Europe. I know Zach doesn't have that kind of dough. Well, that's where I come in. I may be stingy with food and an all-around cheapskate, but that sort of thing doesn't apply when my best friend needs a helping hand. I can't do much about the jail time, though. But if he's getting pressed with murder charges, that's a whole different story that comes with its own set of problems. He could very well be. The man didn't seem to despise his wife in those pictures Zach has shown me. So I think we rushed him in the past, we're gonna call him out here. This is my friend he's fucking shitting on.
He's innocent!
I'm torn.
You don't believe he's actually capable of doing such a thing, do you? Someone else is responsible for those murders, and you want to put him down? On what grounds? What proof do you have that he's behind those deaths?
But I'm not going to let Zach go without a fight.
I saw him standing over Hannah. My dear Hannah. She didn't deserve death. There she was. And I tried to wake her. I tried to save her. But she was already gone. Is that not proof enough? Can I not grieve over my wife's death without being questioned?
Hannah Wright is already dead. That doesn't mean Zach has to be the one to pay the price.
Look, I'm not saying what happened to her should be overlooked. I'm telling you that Zach didn't do this. It can't be him. I know it's not him. I swear it isn't. I just need time to prove it isn't him.
Are you saying you know who murdered her?
Yes.
Maybe it's the high intensity of the situation right now. I may be just imagining it, but the way he zones in on me as I say that one word is nerve-wracking. I want to tell him the truth as I know it, to save us all some grief. Of course, the reality of it is, I can't say it's a ghost. They'd take my badge and put me in a damn jacket.
Well, no.
With the way everyone stares at me right now, they're probably considering it already. This guy is a nutter going against Luke right in the open like that. In fact, I'm already preparing myself for the shitstorm that might come about my outburst. Yet instead...
I understand that you're just concerned for the well-being of your friend. But unless you have concrete proof that there's another culprit in these murders, you are simply a man-child throwing a tantrum. If I were you, I'd pipe down and show some dignity befitting someone holding a badge.
I've expected more. A grand threat about how I should watch my back. But he has just this somber look about him. That did nothing to quell the burning feeling inside me. I'm still angry. My frustration about it all must have been shown because only now do I realize that the other officers have also jumped in to hold me back all this time. So right here is when Rebecca takes her leap of faith. Isabella's still in coma, Zach's in prison, and Rebecca's... The weight of my own failures has never felt as palpable as it did right now. Burned into my mind, like the image of Isabella's unconscious form on the pavement. So this time you actually get to sit and marvel at it. Her phone is toast. Quite a few bones poking out from the skin. So I didn't actually notice the glass shards in her. That means she hit the windshield. Now the part that actually confuses me is I've seen people actually have gotten hit by cars and the damage to the body wasn't actually this bad. Like, due to the tears and stuff, like for this to be the way it is, it'd have to be glass shards that have done this. But looking at the damage to her legs and everything, I kind of want to say she might have been dragged a bit. That, like, getting dragged could explain this to a little bit of a degree. It's just, I'm not... Actually, that's probably a glass shard, now that I think about it. That would make a lot more sense rather than that being her femur, I think the bone is here, because this is a pretty hard bone to break. Actually, those both might be glass shards. Now, is that one in her face? Well, let's just move forward. It flashes in my mind fleetingly, still too clear, still too vivid. Actually, she's missing her shoe that does support the whole being dragged away's theory. It'd be one thing if we saw it around her by her phone or like in the vicinity or something, but... And then the thing working against the whole being dragged theory is there's a pool of blood under her instead of it being a trail leading somewhere, you know? And I should also mention the glass shards really shouldn't be there because the windshield should have actually been able to withstand the impact of her hitting it. Like, it's not really designed to break into 1,000 shards like this, so I'm not entirely sure where the glass came from either. Oh well. It flashes in my mind fleetingly, still too clear, still too vivid. The iron tang of blood still lingers in my nose, as if it were yesterday when I responded to that scene.
We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
She wouldn't have been the first one, and I've never forgiven myself for it.
I'd rather not talk about that, Professor.
I know you well enough, Ashton. You'll see that body, and you'll beat yourself up about it with what-ifs. Scold yourself about what you could have done to prevent it. I don't want you to blame yourself.
I can't let Isabella wake up to this. I've almost lost Isabella. How could I make the same mistake again? So remember, this time the ghost is under the bed. Sooner or later, she'll get us like she did with Rebecca. She almost did with Isabella. And no matter how many times I apologize to her, there's no guarantee Isabella's coming back to us. What's the use, huh?
Inspector Frey speaking.
Good morning, sir. Sorry to bother you this early.
Okay, this is the announcement Zach's dead. Then I have lost someone in my life again.
It's the same problem with that girl's case. The one who got involved in an accident over at the 13th Avenue almost a week ago. The media will have a field day when they learn of this, Frey.
Just like Isabella's mangled body that night, barely breathing and still desperately clinging on to her life. Another regret. The thought of telling Isabella about this when she wakes up, she'll definitely be devastated. Because almost every people I care about are all gone. But Zach and Rebecca are both gone. With Isabella still deep in coma, I'm on my own. So right here is when he decides to go for Luke, I believe. Okay, he's stopping to see Isabella first. The wind is already picked up upon my arrival at Ermengarde Hospital. Somewhere, the faint sound of thunder booms, filtering even through the concrete walls of the place. Though sparsely manned around this hour, the on-duty nurse's lively chatter easily fills the lobby. Some recognize and coax me to join them when I pass by, but all of it has been turned down in favor of rushing straight to Isabella's room. Her aunt's nowhere to be found when I slip inside. On the bed, Isabella remains still, with the constant beeping of the machines as the only sign she still lives. Same as the other day, as well as the day before that. Nothing has changed in her condition. And every single time I've stepped into this room, the sight of her weak and motionless still sends a painful pang in me. Despite what her doctors have been telling us, despite what happened during our last visit, I'd like to believe she will still make it through. And when she wakes up, all of this will be over.
Hey, scaredy cat. Hang in there, all right? I'm going to fix this mess we're in. And once you're okay, you're buying a whole month's worth of ice cream. Wait for me.
She won't be able to answer. Not yet. But imagine her laughing at me right now, daring me to make good on that silly promise. And I will. Find the letter among her belongings doesn't take long. 5 minutes later, I'm fishing it out from one of the side pockets of the bag Rebecca brought with her before, the second night after Isabella's confinement. To think no one bothered to throw this away. I guess that's lucky. I mean, look at this thing. I won't take it seriously if it isn't for all the fucked up shit that's been happening. This is the sort of stupid people pass as along as a prank through emails and text messages, for fuck's sake. Did people seriously make copies of this and pass them around to try and save themselves from a possible curse? That's the inane logic that could be gathered from the fact that there are multiple victims. Was Isabella not saved because she'd simply shown us this one instead of sending 5 different ones? What sort of selfish person would even endanger 5 other people just to save their own skin? More importantly, what does this have to do with the mansion? There'll be time for answers later. I've wasted enough time here. Quickly, I stuff the letter into my pocket. With one last look at her prone form, I close the door behind me and head back to my car. In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. Thunder threatens with a rumble, seconds later echoing long across the heavens. And with one last roar, the skies open in earnest. So right here we find Marianne's body.
What about Isabella? She warned you, didn't she? And you think you deserve to even an ounce of her love? How dare you even confess your wretched feelings on her bedside? You can't even save her. You can't even do anything for her. Someone's dead because of you!
And then I'm pretty sure all of this is the exact same, basically as the everyone dies route and stuff like that. We get to see Charlotte's ghost. Then we're attacked by Johannes. And then everyone's favorite CG right there.
And that girl in a coma, she won't even last long. Soon she'll follow them as well.
And like usual, we're going to create an alternate save file. So, screw it, I'm probably not coming back to these. So right here we need to disarm him
Sorry
in order
about
to
this. I
finish
really don't have
this.
time for you.
But in case you're wondering, yes, I'll go back and do the if you let Ash live, how will that affect the coma type thing.
Sorry, Belle. Don't wait for me.
She won't. I should be afraid in this moment, yet I'm not. No fear, no dread, just an acceptance. Even as she appears before us, her voice echoing throughout the foyer. So that was Ash's entire chapter. So now I'm going to try to knock out Luke's, and then we'll go from there. I might be able to finish Isabella's madness, but... well, you guys have seen the shape the channel's in these days, I'm afraid. I'm the hero of light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.